Everybody, good evening and welcome back. It is Tuesday and it's the very last day of June, July, just hours away, and on about the same schedule, some showers, some thunderstorms, and a whole lot of clouds that are looking to make a not so nice holiday weekend. I've been hoping for a trend to change in the opposite direction, but indeed it's getting wetter by the hour, and right now models are not showing a very favorable forecast for your holiday weekend for the 4th of July festivities Friday in Montgomery County and any others on that day. Oh, definitely not looking good. There will be some bright spots, I think, maybe throughout Saturday evening at the best, but I'm afraid that it could be a bit of a washout. We'll talk about an updated forecast with some hopes. We're still days away that things might change in that respect, but right now, indeed, it's not going the direction that we had hoped or are hoping for. Coverage of the Montgomery County Fiscal Court session, wrapping up that report this evening, as I mentioned in closing last evening. Also, a reminder about supporting a local young lady representing us, where there definitely will be some fireworks this weekend, indoors, mind you. The 4th of July weekend will also be when the Miss Kentucky pageant of 2015 will be decided, and we'll remind you about the contestant that you have a chance to support from right at home, and maybe get into the semifinals. Regardless of what happens on stage, we'll tell you about that in just a minute. And also some breaking news. Just off the phone with Jim Deckard, an attorney, one of the attorneys representing Montgomery County Judge Executive Charles Harton. There are some new and very significant developments in the case, the appeals cases. It is still ongoing. The clock has been reset, so to speak. I'll tell you why and what papers were filed earlier today in just a few moments. Let's go ahead and pick it up with wrapping up coverage of Thursday's special session of the Montgomery County Fiscal Court. Of course, I covered in great detail on Friday's program the discussions concerning the budget, the fiscal year 2016 budget, which was ultimately passed tonight. A few other items of business which also took place during that meeting, including a reappointment to the Water Board. Also, significant discussion about delinquent garbage bills as well. The Fiscal Court unanimously supported the resolution supporting Greg Stumbo and his efforts to see that the Mountain Parkway expansion project continues on from Prestonsburg all the way to Beckley, West Virginia. There was also a reappointment to the Montgomery County Water Board. Judge Harden made a motion which was unanimously passed to put his wife, Michelle Harden, back on the Water Board. And there was also some discussion with Solid Waste Coordinator Frankie Collett in regards to the ongoing efforts to collect on what are said to be some outstanding and delinquent garbage bills.
Would you bring those up, present them to the court? I'd like to make a motion that we ask the county attorney to pursue the collection of these these trash bills.
You want those pursued in criminal action?
If they do not respond within what you think, within 1 month.
Because under our present contract, we have no recourse. We left that in the last 2 contracts for the private employer to carry out those duties himself.
So even though we have a mandatory garbage collection?
Even though we have a mandatory. The earlier contracts, I went back to your contracts in '94. The earlier contracts provided for, it would take you coming to me and swearing out warrants if you want to bring a criminal process on behalf of the county. Otherwise, this latest contract we had did not have anything. We left it to the private contractor on them to go ahead and take their
part. What do I need to do that we can help get these collections? So I'm paying my bill and James Doe's not paying his bill. How can we collect this money as a county to help our
You can
county?
come to me and swear out warrants, and if you want to sign off on them, we'll present them to the court.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay?
What do we need to do for you to go ahead and do that when we can?
She is the...
And do we need to put something in the contract, you said?
Yeah, we don't have anything in this last contract. We left it on the private contractor to go ahead, their duty, to go ahead and take their bills. Now, under the earlier contracts, we had a provision in there that would allow for them to either come to us. It didn't even have this in the latest contract. Those earlier contracts did have that they could either do it on their own or come to us, and after 60 days notice, pursue a criminal action on that. So, but if you want me to go on the criminal route, I need somebody to sign off on a warrant. I can't take out a warrant myself.
Can a fiscal court sign off?
Fiscal court's a body altogether unless you all want to sign off together.
So
it would probably be
agreed for me to do that.
It would probably be the person that's overseeing those.
Bring that to this fiscal court, and we all agree, me, Bob, Matthew, and Bruce, could all all sign our names individually.
I guess you could. I guess you could, as long as they got somebody swearing off on the warrant.
That's what we ought to do with the fiscal.
But I was still put somebody on the stand that's over the dealing on that, that knows the deals.
I don't have a problem with that, but I was saying if the fiscal court wants to do it, we as individuals can sign them all for
I
us.
think fiscal court could. You're the one contracted with them to begin with the services. Yeah.
Good. All right. Next is the jail board contract. Greg, you had looked at this and said that you thought it was good for us to change this to reduce liability. Is that correct?
Yes, they sent me a copy of the same letter they sent you, Doc. I agree with you. I don't know how you could turn it down. I mean, what they offered on that, basically what you got.
It's essentially the same contract, but we're adding some legal protection. Is there a motion to approve the amended jail board contract? Make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and second. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is the status of County Judge Executive's office.
After those discussions, as I already covered, there was a lengthy discussion about the fiscal court budget for 2016. That coverage is still available on yournewstoday.com, where you can catch programming on the following day in case you missed it or just want to see it again. For now, though, a brief word from a few of our sponsors. Still a lot of other headlines, and that, of course, will include few remarks from Attorney Jim Deckard representing McGoffin County Judge Executive Hardin in his appeals case. That's coming up in just a moment. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. A late-breaking report, as I said a few moments ago, coming up in just a few moments from now as it pertains to an interview with an attorney representing McGoffin County Judge Executive Charles Hardin. He will fill us in on the latest developments in that appeals case, which have just taken place earlier this afternoon. But right now, it is time to talk about Miss McGoffin County, who is representing us in Miss Kentucky. She's also representing her hometown and county of Staffordsville in Johnson. And you can cast your vote for her right now. 31 young ladies, 17 to 24 years of age, after competing and winning their local scholarship pageants. Well, they've been in Kentucky. Obviously, they've been in Lexington, Kentucky, in and around the area for days now, and the pageant actually gets underway tomorrow with the final night and decision coming on Saturday, July the 4th. I think that's pretty cool timing. Over $40,000 in cash scholarships are up for grabs for many contestants, and a whole lot of other prizes as well. And, of course, the new Miss Kentucky will go on to represent us in the Miss America pageant, which is slated for September the 13th in Atlantic City. And if you've got a favorite, which I would think we would know who that is, you can go online and vote for your favorite contestant right now. Go to MissKentuckyPageant.com, and with a PayPal account or a credit card, you can cast your vote. Each vote is $1, and the contestant that gets the most votes will be named Kentucky's Choice and become one of the 13 semifinalists. And it's tax deductible. All proceeds go to benefit the Miss Kentucky Scholarship Pageant. Voting ends July the 3rd. That's Friday at 9 o'clock. So 31 competing young women, and one is from right here in our area. 18-year-old Laura Rose Castle from Staffordsville, who attends the Big Sandy Community College, is Miss McGoffin County. She will be doing for her talent and interpretive dance with American Sign Language to Thinking Out Loud, her platform, Finding a Cure for Juvenile Brain Cancer. And she is one of the 31 young ladies vying for the crown. It's also interesting to note that I went down this entire list of all the pageants which are being represented here, and very few are from the Eastern Kentucky area. You have the Miss McGoffin County pageant, and as close to that as I can find would be Miss Southeastern Kentucky, Miss Berea, which has a representative from Stanton, Miss Bluegrass area from Grayson. So with that said, go online and vote. We'll have our next top report in just a few moments. On the phone and on the line will be Jim Deckard, representing Magafa County Judge Executive Charles Hardin. But right now, before we have that interview, let's go on over to tonight's Magafa County Farm Bureau-sponsored community calendar with a couple of special announcements. First up, from the New Life Worship Center Vacation Bible School is at New Life Worship each Monday the month of July, 6 to 8:30 every Monday in the month of July. The theme, Under Construction, How to Build a Christian. That's cool. Classes for ages 18 and under. Kids under 6 must be transported and accompanied by an adult. They do have transportation. Let me back this up just one second. They do have transportation in the local area for ages 6 and up, and if you need a ride for your child or yourself, kids, call 349-7729. Now, due to new restraint laws, 6 and up must have a booster seat to ride in or be transported by a guardian. They apologize, but hey, it's all about keeping everyone safe. If you have any questions about the Vacation Bible School besides just needing a ride, call 349-3055. Bottom line is Vacation Bible School at New Life Worship Center is every Monday in July, 6 to 8:30, and they'll give you a ride, kids, if you need one, and a whole lot of fun once you get there. Under Construction, How to Build a Christian. And how to build a family, I think, is a pretty good segue to not this, but I guess our next announcement. A quick reminder, the Kearney Freehold Baptist Church has postponed Pickin' and Grinnin' this Saturday in honor of 4th of July festivities. They say have a happy and safe 4th of July. They'll be back at it before you know it, Pickin' and Grinnin' at Kearney Freehold. Now, on to the announcement that I was going to remind you about. If you want to become a foster or adoptive parent for the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, there's an informational meeting. It's not until near the end of this month, but in the meantime, you can call Melissa Turner at 349-3122. I'll remind you about the meeting when it gets a bit closer. But like I said, if you want to find out more about the free classes, all the information available, and what you can do to become a foster parent, change a child's life and your own, call 349-3122. And always call us anytime you've got a calendar announcement. You can get them to us any way you like, and you can always catch programming, as I said, of Your News Today the following day on yournewstoday.com. In the local obituary, 78-year-old Leroy Gullett of Brushy Fork passed away on the 27th. He survived by his wife, Maxine Lane Gullett, and a daughter, Regina Howard. Visitation continues this evening and up until services, which are set to start tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, with both visitation and services being held at the Magafa County Funeral Home. Burial will follow services at the Cooper Cemetery on Lick Creek. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. There's an unlimited selection of new and pre-owned vehicles right at your fingertips, with 9 acres of inventory and 7 different franchises, all at one location. Hutch, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Call Chevy, Buick, and GMC at 297-4066 or Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram at 297-5066. Where selection, satisfaction, and service after you're sold are all guaranteed. Just off the phone with Jim Deckard, an attorney representing Dr. Charles Hardin. And the last report that we had for you was shortly after the Kentucky Court of Appeals issued their ruling upholding the decision of John David Preston, as we have discussed. The clock began ticking as of that ruling by the Kentucky Court of Appeals, 30 days for Hardin to appeal, or their decision would become final. However, some new developments in the case just earlier today reset that clock for another reason, or actually reasons. Attorneys for Dr. Charles Hardin are contending that the law now set forth by the Kentucky Court of Appeals and Preston puts a great burden on county court clerks across the entire state of Kentucky and the voting process in and of itself. They also say that more than 6,000 voters in Magafa County are being disenfranchised, and County Judge Executive Hardin is being denied re-election based on nothing more than what they say are suspicions without any factual evidence in the record to support such a remarkable conclusion, and in the face of binding precedent that does not allow such a conclusion. To the extent the Magafa County Election Board or the county court clerk failed to comply with any provisions of the statutes, those errors were directory and not mandatory. Hardin's attorneys have made 2 official requests for rehearings in front of the Appellate Court of Kentucky. One to be before the entire Appellate Court, a 14-judge panel. While rehearings are very slim, the odds of which are very slim, attorneys representing Hardin are hopeful that, given the extenuating circumstances that he cites in part in this interview, would be enough for them to warrant at least one of the rehearings for the judge.
This afternoon, Judge Hardin instructed us to file a petition for rehearing with the Court of Appeals. And that was done. And what that does is it asks the Court of Appeals, the 3 members of the Court of Appeals who decided this case, to take another look at it, to look at the precedent of both the Kentucky Supreme Court and the Kentucky Court of Appeals, and try to mesh what they've now decided with what other courts previous to them that they have to adhere to, what they've decided. In addition to the rehearing, we've also asked for the entire Court of Appeals, all 14 members who are from Paducah to Pikeville, to take a look at this together. The current decision of the Court of Appeals, if it becomes the law, is going to place enormous new requirements upon county clerk's offices statewide. There will be technical adherent points that every county clerk's office will have to meet that they've never met before in order to sustain elections. And this is going to lead, in my opinion, to litigation in all counties when somebody's upset that they didn't get enough votes to win, that they'll go to court and try to overturn elections on a technical basis, just as has happened here. Because we filed a petition for rehearing, that stops the process. Judge Hardin had the right to file a motion for discretionary review with the Supreme Court within 30 days, or to file this petition for rehearing within 20 days of the decision back earlier in June. Because he's done this, the Court of Appeals will now take another look at this case, and in the coming weeks or months, make a decision on whether they want to rehear it, and if they do rehear it, whether they want to rehear it with all 14 judges hearing it, and if they do, that will require possibly more briefs and another oral argument. If they don't, then Judge Hardin would have another 30 days from that date to file a motion for discretionary review with the Supreme Court.
Besides the grounds that you've mentioned in regards to setting up new guidelines, any other grounds specifically that you felt were of importance enough to substantiate a rehearing?
You know, rehearings are not all that common, but in cases with statewide significance, they are more common than not. In this case, one thing stands out to me, of many things that I believe are an error from the court, and that is that their focus on, for example, the failure of shaking the absentee ballots in the ballot box instead of the decision of the Magafa Board of Elections to shuffle them all on a table in a public setting. You know, I've personally seen the Magafa County ballot box. I've tried to pick it up. It's, I'm guessing, 75 to 100 pounds, solid oak. Under this technical requirement, it's going to put county clerks across the state in jeopardy of having their elections overturned if they don't pick those ballot boxes up and shake them over their head. You know, we can take things to the extreme, and I believe that's what these technical requirements are that the court has imposed upon not only Magafa but all county clerks. What we need is a process that ensures that everybody's vote counts and that nobody's disenfranchised. If they vote absentee or if they vote in the polls, their votes need to count. And their votes counted in November 2014, and Judge Hardin beat John Montgomery. And we believe at the end of the day, that will be the ultimate outcome of this case.
And as has been the case thus far, time indeed will tell. It's a process that appears to be going on for the unforeseeable future. We will keep you up to date, as I have been, on any new developments in the matter. In an effort to get that story on the program, I'm a little bit off kilter this evening, and I'm going to have an abbreviated forecast for you that shows pretty much some conditions that have been decent, but you can see what's looming. We are going to catch some of these storms as they make their way into the viewing area. So we do have a chance of some showers and storms tonight. You will want to keep your eye on the weather thereafter. A severe thunderstorm watch in effect until about 9 p.m. tonight. That might even be extended by just a bit. Depends on the speed of these, and right now I think it's going to be close to that. It may actually expire at 9, but you're definitely going to be wanting to keep your eye on the weather up until that point. Tomorrow we'll see some dense fog, partly sunny skies thereafter, and a high of 79 with another chance of showers and thunderstorms. And we're still watching a really wet weekend starting on the Friday and going throughout much of your 4th of July weekend. That condition and that scenario is not playing out any better. I'll get you up to date on that, which we hope will be a better scenario tomorrow. But right now, it's looking like we might have to cancel or juggle some of those 4th of July festivities. For now, that's my time. Thank you so much for being a part of it. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.